The question is, why do you get engaged if it's not working for you? So as African Americans, guess what? We're used to creating our own. And creating our own environment because the system has not worked for us. So together and hopefully as we unify, not only just as a party, but as a real America, then we can start making sure that the system is fair to everyone, and everyone feels valued, and everyone has an opportunity. And I believe that will start getting folks more engaged.
I wasn't going to answer, but hell, all right. So I think I may have a kind of slightly unpopular answer. I think when we talk about our rights and our liberation, that nobody's coming to save us. That's right. And that we have to make sure that we infiltrate these spaces to make sure that they work for us. That's right. And if we don't, nobody's going to come and give that to us. That's right. And so I think it's very important that we continue to mobilize and organize and do the things that our ancestors did when they didn't always have a platform, but they always had an ear to each other and making sure that they stayed connected. And so we have to take those lessons and stay connected with each other to make sure that our rights are heard. And when they're not heard, we do whatever we can to continue to make noise and to make things happen. And so I can say more, but I want to stop there. So, okay.
I'm sorry, can you repeat the question, please? I want to make sure I'm responsive. Can you repeat the question, please?
What do you believe is the greatest barrier to Black civic engagement in your community? Be kind. No.
So let me be clear. I'm 60 years old. I literally don't have time to micromanage my speech to make other people feel comfortable. So unless and until when we're comfortable, then they can be comfortable. Because I'm really tired of white fragility. And I'm really tired. Look, I expect Republicans to disenfranchise us any way they can, legally, illegally. I expect that from them. What I don't expect and what I think we can infiltrate is the Democratic Party. And what I don't appreciate is when white progressive Democrats try to hold down Black Democrats because they're trying to hold on to power. And people don't want to talk about this. Right? Perfect example is this morning. Apart from this room is way too small for this panel. Apart from the fact that this room is too small, right? Because Black Democrats are the most reliable voter for Democrats. So we're in this room, it's already too small, and somebody made the decision to move us from this room that's already too small to an even smaller room. And the people that were in here, I came in here, there were empty seats. So, just like I said this morning, oh, hell to the no. You're not about to put But it's also a prime example is about how we have to take our spaces and be loud, and if it makes other people uncomfortable, especially the establishment Democrats, then we need to do that. Because if this state does not appreciate Black Texas, we are going to lose in the midterms when we can gain. So pay attention, because I know I'm paying attention, and I'm no longer going to allow them to dictate what we get. We work too long and too hard, and we need to be loud, and we need to take up space. We need to speak truth to power, tell the truth and shame the devil, and force the party to reckon with us, because the Republicans are not.
One of the greatest barriers to civic engagement, I think, is some of the disservice that we have. When I look at the Democratic Party away, and then also on the Democratic ticket, I feel like sometimes we could be bought, you know, and sometimes, and I say sometimes because I don't want to put that shoe on everybody. So therefore, we can't get on the same got the people that sit here trying to actually do what's right for the people that they say they represent. And then we also have to get beyond the color representation, because I really don't care what color you are. If you don't understand my problems and issues, you can't represent me. We need people that come from our issues, that understand our problems, so when they get in office, they know how to connect with the people, engage with the people, and move in a way that will uplift the people who need the most. And these are some of the issues and barriers that we have when it comes.
Kind of what was said. Thank Texas Black Politics for live streaming this event for us, and they're going to be live streaming voices out. Thank you, brother. All right, so the next category is healthcare. Something near and dear to everyone in this room. What should be done to address maternal
So I sit on the Public Health Committee. We got to vote because I sit on the Public Health Committee and I listen to my colleagues. Being in the legislature is like, so I used to be on this show called Survivor. Would there be then you messed up your parents' money, and then you gotta go to, so at least if you're working in an office, you can see. So that's what government can do. But also, we can adequately fund after-school programs, right? We can do that, so the kids have something positive to do. But we need to do a better job of educating our kids of government connects to whatever it is they don't have, right? So I passed a bill this last legislative session putting civics back in school because thank you. What I noticed was when I was on city council, adults might be upset with the schools. They come yelling at us as city council, and then they mad at us because we didn't fix it. Well, city council has nothing to do with the school board. So I really said we need to teach people who to be mad at. So when your problems don't get fixed, then you go get them out of office. So there are a lot of things that we need to do to connect the dots for kids and to adequately fund programming for kids so that they can know that politics is important and that they need to be involved.
I would just add to that, most of the time when we have conversations about civic engagement, it starts and ends at voting. And we have to make sure that young people know that there's a whole world of involvement. And we have to speak into life their ability to get involved. So many times when I've talked to interns and people that came to my office, they never seen themselves as working in a legislative office. They never seen themselves as an elected official because that's how sometimes how the messages are reinforced at home. You're too busy to survive, and so you can't be here. And if you're not related to a elected official or in a space like that, the gate hasn't always been left open for other people to come into when we look at our community and the people that are leading our community. And so I'm going to call this man out one more time, Senator Royce West out of Dallas, Texas. Um, because he's put the programs in place like internships, other programs that is intentional about bringing in young people, and that's something that I took a lot of cadence from as well. And so we just have to make sure that we're involving our young people, and not just in our schools and in our communities, because those things are working against us right now. We have to do that in our homes. And so the reason that I got involved was, with politics has nothing to do with my school and very little to do with our systems. It had everything to do with my grandmother. It had everything to do with my grandmother watching CNN every day, telling me to get involved, telling me to be a part of the conversation, and whatever you do, come back to your community and do the work. So I'm grateful for my grandmother who is 88 years old, and she is still playing in front of MSNBC probably right now. And so it's a family thing, and we have to take back that control, and again, stop expecting, especially in Trump's America, stop expecting somebody to come and save us and put these programs into our community. We have to build that community.
I agree with all the things that my colleagues said, but I want to kind of synthesize it a little bit. We've got to create the on-ramps for our young people. What happened to summer jobs? Okay? Summer jobs is important. When we make, not only just at the state level, but at the local level, we've got to create opportunities for our young folks. We'll invest in a senior center, but we won't invest in putting young people to work. Because remember, exposure is where the mind starts turning and getting engaged. So I want to see more investments in what I call our human capital, and that's our youth. I don't think it's there. And I also believe that, as my colleagues have indicated, we've got to be able to talk to our young people, not just in the schoolhouse or at our churches, but also sitting on the front porch again. Okay? Getting them off of TikTok, Bebop, and all that other nonsense, right? And having conversations with our young people so that they can connect the dots. We've gotten so distant from our young people. And all of y'all know, you can sit in a restaurant right now and you see folks at a table and everybody's doing their independent thing on their independent device. When is those conversations are going to start happening that focuses around not only what you as a youth and your responsibility and what you're doing and ain't doing, but also about government and how government plays that role. So through education, through creating opportunities and creating those leadership opportunities, those internship opportunities. Because right now, what my fear is, we got a war against the young and the old. We got a war going on, y'all. It's real, okay? They think you too old to tell them anything, and you think they too young to know anything. We've got to start bringing those conversations together so that we can respect each other's space. And I'll close with this. Think about your own child. You can tell them something and they're like, The neighbor tell them the same doggone thing. And for some reason, it just gravitates, right? So what we've got to do is be able to create those opportunities where young people can come together and really, and yeah, no doubt, create that village so that our young people can start having those conversations and be willing and open to share with us. We should be putting them down for their thoughts. We should be respecting their thoughts and walking them through appropriate processes because that's the time when their mind is most vulnerable. Thank you.
That's what I need to add. I was born in 1965. I saw my mother struggle. I saw her hate her job for 37 years. I felt the pain of her coming home real upset about her job. So what I learned from that is you can actually work somewhere, hate your boss, they could be wrong, but you keep your job because you got bills to pay. What I don't see now is young people who persevere through things, right? They want to be paid. It's social media, that's a whole other thing that destroys our kids. I'm going to use Zoe, who's right there in front of me. One of my said she started off as an unpaid intern in my office, right? To try to learn. That's how much she knew she wanted to try to help some kind of way. And she's worked so hard that she's earned a paid position in my office. Very rarely do you see that in young people, right? I mean, when we were younger, I think we're what am I, Gen X? Whatever generation I am, I knew I had to pay my dues. There's a lot to be said to pay your dues and move up. And I think that that's something that young people, which goes along with what my colleague, Chair Governor Hawkins says, where we want to be able to pour into the kids, but everything, especially after Trump, and everything is cut down for black people, right? All the funding to black people, Trump is defunding black America, and actually blacks around the world. So we don't always have the money to pay you. We just don't, right? But we have stuff to teach you that could turn out to increase your pay. So I think that we need people who are willing to work and learn, because sometimes we just don't have the money at that time. But again, you can earn a paid job with health benefits.
So what I hear from all of this is education is key, and while we're on education, I want to recognize someone that's in the room who I always do every time I see her. Our state rep, Aisha Davis, who, now hold on, before you clap, just one clap for her. Hold on. When she was on the State Board of Education, that woman right there is the reason we have African American studies in the state of Texas. Right there. Tell me. Oh, I ain't see him back there. Come on in here. Represent Ron Brothers, my frat brothers in the house. All right, but no, seriously, she fought for that right because our kids were losing their identity. That's important. So what I hear is, Zoe, right? Zoe. You have to get in, I'm gonna date myself. Everybody remember the old McDonald's commercial with Calvin? Calvin started where? Calvin started on fries. By the end of the commercial, Calvin was the manager. We got to get back to that, where we have to tell our youth it's okay to start at the bottom and work your way up. That's where you get that experience. That's where you get that longevity in there. Everyone can't start at the top. Everyone can't be the CEO when you walk in. It doesn't work like that. And I think that's what we have to do. And one more thing I will say, and my daughter's here, my 15-year-old daughter's here. She knows when we eat dinner, me and my wife make a pact. At least 3 to 4 nights a week, we eat dinner together as a family. And there is no technology allowed at the dinner table. We have the conversation. We got to get back to that. And I'm going to be a nerd in my history self. The Pullman porters were the first generation to work to send their kids to where? College. So when you talk about that, it made me think about the Pullman Porters, how they worked to provide their kids with opportunity, not with everything, but the opportunity to go to college to better themselves. And we are the descendants of those hardworking Pullman Porters. Remember that. So the next question is kind of near and dear. So in my county, we just had a young black man, you've seen it on the news, get 35 years. 35 years. Keep that. Did he commit a crime? Yes. Should he have gotten 35 years? No. Yeah, I'm sorry. How do we balance public safety with accountability and justice? Let that soak in. Let that soak in. Who wants to start? I know this is your alley. Yeah, see, this is alley. You want to talk.
Balancing the scale of public safety, I really think like we got to move people away from traditional norms. Like we got way too many people operating in traditional norms, and they doing what they think they should be doing, like to fix a narrative instead of moving in a way to where like we got a double-edged sword here. We got a privileged sword and a sword for everybody else. And then depending on where you at on the everybody else spectrum, the deeper the sword goes in. So with Carmelo, like it's crazy that this young man couldn't even stand up to a bullet and still got 35 years. Right, exactly. That double-edged sword. That double-edged sword, the law ain't the same for everybody, and I wish to see a space where people actually fought for everybody the same. I wish we could get a blind justice system to where, like, when we had cases presented to the court, people couldn't even see who you were. I really wish it was straight just dealing with the facts and the person, whomever had to deal with the system for whatever the circumstance is that got them there, they couldn't even be seen by the jury, the judge, or nobody in the courtroom. I wish you couldn't even get the race of the person and just dealt with straight facts. When I walk into the Harris County Jail, every single pod I walk into, which is crazy, it's about 50% black, and then it's about like 46, 47% Latino. But even when you look at the actual numbers, they actually divide the Latino numbers and they put like 26% Latino and 23% white, so we can't even see the disparities.
Right, right. What we have to vote for what we get. We don't vote, so we don't get. Y'all keep talking, and we don't get everybody to the ballot this year. We're gonna lose everything. That's where we are. That's where we are. You don't vote, you don't have nothing. Yeah, they take us out.
I'm about to wrap up, but we got to stop letting people do whatever they want to do with us. We got to stop letting people do whatever they want to do with our kids. We got to stop sitting up here thinking that because I'm representing you, I have to actually move like this because you come from a less privileged family. Like the legal system need to treat everybody equal, period. And we got an issue with that.
So, I practiced criminal defense for over 30 years. So the question in itself, I think, is problematic. And the reason I think it's problematic is this. First of all, what's the definition of accountability and balancing? For example, white kid, black kid do the exact same thing, right? The police take the white kid, maybe they give him a stern talking to and talk to his parents, and they let him make it. They arrest the black kid, try to put him under the jail, right? They did the same harm, but the decider, I don't know if I just made that word up, but the decider gets to determine who gets what punishment. So I think we really need to pay attention to who we vote for district attorney. Because the district attorney's greatest power is discretion. And what that means is when the police, even if they're racist, call and say, I want to you to get charges on this person for these things, the district attorney can say yeah or no. So there's a little judge in Houston, never thought I'd bring him up, last name Fleischer, right? He's pretty interesting if you watch him on social media, where the police will give their probable cause, and he'll be like, so basically you arrested him for crossing the street while black, or doing this while black, and I'm not gonna do this. So he's doing what the DA should have done, right? So I think that's difficult. And then what's accountability again? With what does that really mean? With Carmelo, they had proof. And so, I'm sorry. Then you need to pay attention to who you vote for, judge. Because the judges can make good or bad rulings in a trial. They can keep out the evidence, like they did with Carmelo, of the bullying. And if the jury doesn't know that he was bullied, then they believe that what he did has no explanation or no understanding. But let somebody bully a white person's kid, they're going to be ready to lock up everybody. So I think that if you want, I'm sorry, and then thirdly, you need to figure out who you got as a police chief. Now most times that's not an elected position, although the sheriffs are elected, so you can control that. Because again, police have the same kind of discretion as prosecutors. So there are a bunch of different, I guess, parts during the trial stuff, the police, then the DA, then the judge, right, where you can stop this nonsense. And so I'm gonna say that again to the extent you haven't connected the dots. Who is your police chief or sheriff? Who is the DA? Because they can nip all of that in the bud. And who is the judge? And then accountability, again, whatever that means, will start being more clear. Because the kid that died was a bully, right? If the kid who defended himself and killed him did it because he went to the grown-ups and said, please, will you stop this boy and these people from beating me up, then maybe he wouldn't have had to do what he did.
All right, I'm gonna start off with this term. Everybody know what peep game means? Yeah. You got a peep game with what's going on. Nobody ever got over the fact that y'all black people elected a black president. And so, from that moment, there was a long-term strategy put in place to dissect our system and our representation and our rights. And so we have to look at what is going on, and that when it comes to the context of this conversation, our judges that represent us, when we look at a place like Dallas County or those surrounding counties, we got a Democratic majority with our judges. They went after that. They start paying attention to those judge races. And so we have to make sure that we are paying attention to more than just Congress, more than just state representatives, which a lot of people sometimes don't pay as much attention to, but those judge positions, because these are all elected. And so I know we want justice, I know we want equity, and I know we want fairness, but our people have been fighting for that since we got to this country and dying for that. And so we have to peep game right now and understand that it is a systematic attack against black representation, against black bodies, against all those things, as it was at the beginning. And so history now is repeating itself. And so the good thing that comes out of that is that our people have been through this before, so the solutions is built into our DNA. And we have to make sure that we become smart at that level to understand now in 2026 what we need to do to claim that democracy back. And so, as you have stated, sir, we have to vote. We have to be engaged, and we have to let all of the issues that we have with the party, with this and with that, go away because there's something bigger at play. And so, that goes to criminal justice, that goes to healthcare access, that goes to representation, that goes to all of these different things. So we have to peep game and understand right now that we are under attack right now, and we're going to still continue to see how our justice system continues to treat us, because we've seen that before, and we're going to see it again until we do something about it and make sure that we have the elected leaders who are going to represent us in those seats. Don't just vote, run for office. Like, get involved. So there's more than this conversation than just vote. We have to get involved and understand this system. What you got?
Getting people in office. If we don't vote, we can't get people in office.
That's right, that's right. And so he's making a very important point as far as getting people into office. We have to make sure that we're doing that work, but that starts right here locally. Everybody in here is somewhat involved more than just your average person. Hold on, sir. Hold on, sir. Hold on, sir. All right, all right, all right. I got you. I got you. I got you. All right, so we have to make sure that we're getting involved with the precinct chair, election judges, all those things are so important to be engaged in. So don't just vote, get involved, run for office if you need to, but we gotta make sure that we're doing more than most because we know that as black people, we gotta do 10 times more to even just come across the board. And so we have to make sure that we understand that and understand those stories that our family told us as far as how we have to show up each and every day.
I'm gonna take a little different twist here. I want us to manage expectations. We can look at voting, and I think no doubt we all know we need to do that. The other part is your type of representation. Let's take the Kamala incident. I believe he had poor representation. Okay? So for me, we have to look at the entire legal apparatus. That's just one facet of it, okay? But also, we have to look at the fact that what type of representation we have, okay? And I think we know we live in the country sometimes, it ain't even right or wrong, it's how much legal support you can pay for, okay? So if your pockets are deep, the legal system is a little different, okay? So looking at the entire apparatus in terms of what we need to do, but let's talk about what we need to do for our children. And that's where I want to get back to investing in our human capital, y'all. Because I'm seeing some things I don't like. Our children fighting one another, being openly aggressive to one another. Y'all see these videos where people are taping folks fighting and saying that's okay? Okay? So I think we've got to look at the fact, and I hate what occurred because I believe there should have been a lesser charge. There was a crime committed, but I believe there should have been a lesser charge. But again, that's how your legal representation presents your case. I think the other thing that's so important as we look at accountability. My colleagues have already stated the legal system and how important it is in terms of the judges, who the judges are, who are DA, and I agree with that wholeheartedly. Because you will have a DA put together a community committee to look at videos, but they're going to do what's popular. They don't necessarily look at the videos and be able to see what's happening. I don't know if y'all seen the video when Jasmine Crockett's security guard was shot in that garage. They asked him, did he have a weapon? He said yes. He brought that weapon up. He didn't point it at anybody, and they gunned him down. That's on tape, okay? And so when we look at the system, lack of training for our police, our law enforcement, not holding them accountable, looking at our court system, and not dealing with what we'll call fair justice. But we can control a lot of that, y'all, through our engagement. We vote, and then we go home. We don't deal with the accountability piece because for some reason we think somebody else is going to do it. But when you vote a person in, you got to be on top of that, on top of them, and making sure they're doing true representation. But also that comes with educating folks about the role that they play in this whole system. So I see it as a whole apparatus, not just bits and pieces that we have to look at. And we have to hold elected officials accountable. We have to hold the people in critical positions accountable. And guess what we have to do? Hold ourselves as citizens accountable. That's important.
I think the totality of circumstance, I'm going to respectfully push back on what Madam Chair said. Let me be clear. If I live in a house, or my mama can't afford the bills, my mama working wherever she can work to keep the lights on or whatever, Therefore, I'm a latchkey kid. I've been undereducated. I'm not doing well in school. Not because I'm not going to school. Because most of the people that drop out of school drop out in like 9th and 10th grade. They literally read and write at a 2nd and 3rd grade level. Think about that. If you read and write at 2nd and 3rd grade level and you manage to stay in the school till 9th or 10th grade, you have faked the funk for a long time, right? You have faked the funk for a long time. Some people steal because they are hungry. People are angry because they have eyes. They can see how other people are being treated. And so to purely put it on kids because they are fighting or whatever, I think is unfair. The unfairness is and it's inherently unfair, and it's systemically unfair because the system is designed to deny access to resources and opportunity to our people. So you gonna be mad that a desperate people are doing desperate things? I respectfully disagree with that. So that, to me, that sounds like it's blaming the victim and not blaming the system that controls everything that we do. For the same reason my colleague who was sitting here said run for office. I literally didn't know that I could actually run for office before I ran for office. I knew I was supposed to vote. I didn't know that I could run. Somebody talked me into run for office. And I guess, praise God, I won. Shit. But my point is, you don't know what you don't know. So stop looking at the situation that you see us in and ask how the hell did we get there? And it was, I promise you, it was either because they didn't fund our schools, it was that our parents didn't have enough money, it was that our fathers or moms got incarcerated for some shit they shouldn't have been incarcerated for. So we can't do that, right? We can't do that. And also, apart from whether you have a lot of money, in the Carmelo trial, that was in Collin County, Texas. They racist AF. Okay, they racist AF. I see trials all the time as over a 30-year criminal defense lawyer where you're making objections, valid objections, evidence should be kept out, and the judge let it in because it helps the prosecutor, and the judge keeps it out because it helps the defense. So all this other stuff, look, the world should be perfect. It should. But I've been black all my life, and I'm gonna die black. And I'm not going to live my life and make my decisions for a world that it should be, and it should. I'm gonna make decisions based on where the hell I'm living right here, right now, right? And so I just believe that sometimes when we make it, we forget where we came from, or we somehow think we're better than where we came from, and the people that we grew up with. And I think that we need to remember who we were before we made it, and remember the struggles that we had, and have compassion and humanity for people, and stop blaming people because you don't know what you don't know.
All right. No, it's not going on. It's not continuing.
I want to be clear. I'm not blaming anybody. So let's be clear on that, okay? I want to put it in proper context. What I'm saying is we've got a lot of issues out there with our youngsters, and we have to admit that, okay? And we've got to work on fixing that. I agree wholeheartedly that people do desperate things when they're in a desperate situation. And so that's where we've got to fix those things so they're not in a desperate situation. And that's why we've got to invest in our young people and be able to create those opportunities for them so they don't have to do certain things. But I think overall, we've got to look at the fact that we have a responsibility to develop a society that our young people can not only just survive, but can thrive. And we owe that to them to be able to create those opportunities. Think about it in the 60s. And I'm a crossover between that time when things happened. Had that opportunity to go to college. Doors opened. Had opportunity to get certain jobs you didn't get before. We've got to get back to some of those type of things that we need to do for our young people today, because our young people are struggling and they need us more now than ever before.
All right, we're going to wrap this up here. And briefly, first of all, thank you. If we don't get a chance, thank you. I have something for you. I need you to give in 1 minute some homework for them to do when they leave this place, right? Homework. I need homework. I need them to be able to leave here with something that they can go and do. All right? One thing. It doesn't have to be overly complicated, just one thing.
Nice and simple. When it's time to vote, don't just go by yourself. Take others.
Before you vote, do your homework on who you vote for. And don't listen to what we tell you to your face. Go research our records to see how we actually voted. On my mama, some people will say I'm voting for your interest and they voted against them.
Just stay informed. You know, like beyond voting. You know, if one of us is under attack, all of us is under attack. So if you see one of your brothers and sisters under attack, don't just walk by. I mean, at least stand there, watch, monitor, take notes, record, like be a support system for them. Because we can't do it without y'all. And we need each other. So just love one another and keep some empathy in the forefront. Love and empathy in the forefront.
So, you got homework. A couple things I want to end with. By show of hands, how many of you have take your grandchildren or children to go vote? How many of you, and let's be honest, how many of you, when you get the jury notification, skip out on jury? If we're going to be serious and real here, let's be serious and real. Because representation on that jury is important. So I need y'all to stop skipping out on jury duty and go show up for it. Right? This is serious. How many of y'all take a trip to the Capitol and bring kids with you? Right? Those are the things we have to do. It's more than just voting, like they said. It's starting from the bottom to get to where we need to be. Oh, there you go. How many of y'all brought a kid? How many of y'all brought a child to the convention? All right, that's important. I did too. But thank you. This was important. Thank you. Please accept this gift, a small gift from us. And if you're going to the Black Caucus meeting, Winter Garden, Water Garden, B, we're about to go there right now, right around the corner this way. All right, thank you.